I see this often, even in the hospital as well as the community, is kind of supporting people that are single from various different aspects of their lives. And so I meet people every day that might be older in their life. They are single because they are widowed and they've lost someone that they love after 40, 50 years of marriage. I've met people that are single that have been single their entire lives, have had they've had, I don't want to say unsuccessful, but they've not met or encountered the person that is the right person for them. I would say that I may fit in that category of being a single person, but I've met people in that category that have never necessarily been married, have been in relationships, but are single and they are in the prime of their life. I meet people every day that are in their 30s and in the beginning of their trajectory of life, and they are single and navigating the complexities of what it means today to be single. And I have met people also that are, and these are not the only scenarios, but I meet people every day also that are maybe single because they are divorced and their marriage ended, or a relationship with their partner of a long period of time has ended. And so now they find themselves navigating single life after having maybe been with someone that they cared for, that they loved for a long period of time. And even that is a different dynamic. But what came to me that I really wanted to share today is this understanding that one of the things that I believe that is at the very, I'm going to say the root of some of the real discouragement, disappointment that happens for someone that may be single, is this understanding that at the very seed of some of the emotional pain of being single, because not all painful, but some of the pain that exists around me and in my experience and with people comes out of a sense of grief and loss. And I just wanted to offer maybe a few words that offer clarity, a few words to have a level of sturdiness and understanding about where some feelings and emotions may come from when navigating through this experience of being single. So to be able to kind of dig at the root and understand that grief is not only when someone dies. Grief is attached to losing or a sense of loss, which can come out of the end of a relationship. It can come, grief and loss go hand in hand when they can come from experiences that have happened in life over a multiplicity of times, over time, that result in disappointment. Grief and loss can result in one circumstance of being single when you have spent your entire life with someone, and for that person can pass away, which would be then grief as a result of that kind of loss. But it can also just be grief and loss when a relationship that you've had with someone, I'm going to say dies, but not the person physically dying, but the end of a dream or what you once had. And that also is a significant aspect of what creates a sense of loss and grief for someone that is single. And I am just wanting to offer, I'm going to say, a sense of stability, emotional stability, and being able to say that I see you, I hear you. In many cases, I know some of the pain that exists for us as singles, but to be able to clearly identify that some of the experience that one might have as a result of being single is not merely being single, but singleness as a result of a loss, as a result of a disappointment, as a result of feeling perhaps dropped in some ways, maybe feeling unseen, unheard. There's a whole aspect of being single that, even though in many aspects of what I've seen in the traditional church, a focus on marriage, what I believe in Soulful Singles is that there really must become an awareness about what is really the emotional need and some of the emotional challenges, as well as some of the benefits and the things that one might appreciate about singleness. And so I simply wanted to say today to my singles that you are seen, You are heard. In many ways, you are partnered with people that you don't even know, and that there is more that can happen for you as a single person, for you to gain a sense of liberty, for you to gain a sense of contentment, for you to gain a sense of clarity about what your life as it is right now and how that can look for you. And even in a more expansive view, how can you can not just how, but you can navigate that experience in partnership and collaboration with the Lord, just as someone does when they are married. And I would go as far as to say that in my experience and through the lens that I see of grief and loss every single day as a chaplain and a minister and as a human being, that there are many, many things that we can look at, not to wash away pain as a result of the challenges of being single, but to offer ourselves perspective on the fact that this thing that we're made to believe that being single is worse, or we are worse off because we're not married, is really not true. That we can live, it doesn't mean that we can't desire love, that we can't, that it is not necessarily good for us to, or for a single person to be in relationship with another person that they may care about. It does not discount any of that. I am speaking from experience. But what it does speak to is that there is no perfect state. And sometimes I believe that that is what is more or less being pushed, that there is something more perfect and wonderful about being married than there, or being in a relationship, than it is with being single. And I do not see that or experience that to necessarily be true. I believe that there are advantages to being with someone and being married. I also believe there are advantages to being single. I believe that there are great difficulties when one is single and having to navigate life with you and God, which is one key that I would like to talk about even more in the future. But I also believe that we know that for as many people that are married, including those married within the Christian context, we have as many people, if not more, that are married and not necessarily in healthy relationships, fulfilling relationships, relationships where they are seen and relationships where they are heard. So it is not just the state of marriage that brings these things. It is the condition and the health of a relationship that offers us the thing that actually brings us, or could bring us, fulfillment. And I believe, just to, in closing for today, that what God desires for us as single people, and also as marrieds, but for us as single people to gain real perspective and clarity about, is to allow our disappointments, allow us to be able to focus our lens more on what God is doing inside of us as single people, and what that mirror, by holding up that mirror and opening space for God to work in us as individuals, I believe that there's an advantage to what we can experience in a relationship by doing that work. And so I just want to encourage my singles today that that I think that we can look at our lives as single people in a unique and different way. And I also believe that we have open-ended opportunity to approach singleness as a place of clarity, a place of opportunity, a place of growth, and a place of actual peace and contentment that does not distract or take away from the desire to be in a relationship. But it is much greater to be in healthy relationship with oneself, even before they come into healthy relationship with others. And I believe we as singles have the greatest opportunity to stand in that truth. So you can learn more about me at thehearttosoul.com. Again, my name is Deborah M. Jackson, chaplain and minister, and also soon to be functioning in the mental health practitioner realm. And I look forward to seeing you again.